Skip and Skip X embed X share close Notre Dame insider Laken Littman recaps the Irish's win over the Wolfpack. Laken Littman, Indy star, Fighting Irish running back Josh Adams, 33, runs the ball as North Carolina State Wolfpack safety Jarius Moorhead, 31, defends in the first quarter at Notre Dame Stadium. Photo: Matt Cashore, USA Today Sports. South Bend. If you thought Notre Dame was going to win a close game on Saturday, you probably weren't the only one. It looked that way to begin. North Carolina State blocked a Notre Dame punt for a touchdown early in the first quarter, giving Fighting Irish déjà vu after an eerily similar play clinched a victory for the Wolfpack in 2016. It was a one-score game at halftime, but the 10th-ranked Irish showed why they belong in the college football playoff discussion, crushing the No. 15 Wolfpack 35-14. It was the second consecutive top 15 opponent Notre Dame has completely dismantled in as many weeks, and the third win over a program potentially contending for a Power 5 conference championship. Here are 3 reasons why Notre Dame won. Josh Adams. Again, running back Adams has successfully inserted himself further into the Heisman Trophy discussion, after rushing for 202 yards and a touchdown on 27 carries against the nation's 6th-best rushing defense. He was the first opponent to run for 100 yards against the Wolfpack all season. The previous best individual performance came from Marshall's Keon Davis and Louisville's Lamar Jackson, who both ran for 73 yards. He also became the quickest back in Notre Dame history to reach 1,000 yards in a season, clinching the mark Saturday on his 110th carry of the season, a 35-yard rush that set up Notre Dame's first touchdown. Skip and Skip X embed X share close Adams ran for 202 yards and a touchdown. Laken Littman, Indy star. His explosive 77-yarder late in the third quarter was his 7th play for 60 yards or more this season and 4th for 70 yards or more. Adams' Heisman hype may have been premature before this week. Sure, he was the nation's 6th-best back, averaging 138.1 yards per game on 9.21 yards per carry, but he was unable to run the ball successfully against the best defensive lines Notre Dame had faced up to this point. Adams ran for 53 yards against Georgia, No. 4 rushing defense, and 56 yards against Michigan State, No. 8. He proved worthy of being in the conversation with his performance against NC State, which has several potential first-round NFL draft picks, like Bradley Chubb. In its defensive front, Notre Dame finished with 318 rushing yards against a defense previously holding opponents to 91.2 rushing yards per game. Progress in passing game. Earlier this week, Brandon Wimbush was informed that he had tied the school rushing touchdown record for a quarterback, 10 scores. Seemingly unimpressed with himself, the quarterback asked, "Who has the most passing? I want to go for that one." Wimbush is still pretty far away from reaching that goal, but he threw some beautiful balls against the Wolfpack that were indicative of the progress he's made in the passing game. There might be no better example than the 8-play, 60-yard touchdown drive late in the second quarter that put the Irish up 21-14 in for good. Skip and Skip X embed X share close. The Irish knocked off the Wolfpack 35-14 Saturday. Laken Littman, Indy star. On the first play, Wimbush looked 60 yards deep for No. 1 receiver Equanimeous Street Brown, but he didn't catch it after cornerback Jonathan Alston interfered. Wimbush fed Adams to move down the field, but it was his final 2 plays of the drive that impressed. The first was an 11-yarder to Durham Smythe, who did his best ballerina impersonation to make the catch on his tippy toes to keep both feet in bounds and move the chains. Then Wimbush found Kevin Stefferson, who made a one-handed one-footed grab for 11 yards in the back right corner of the end zone to put the Irish up by 7 before halftime. Wimbush finished 10 of 19 for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns, including 21 yards rushing and another score with his legs. He'll likely still be frustrated by his passing numbers and he still has growing to do, but the improvement is showing. Defense doesn't break. Heading into this matchup, NC State had only turned the ball over 4 times this season, the least in the country. That stat changed early in the third quarter. Center Garrett Bradbury snapped the ball early to try and catch Notre Dame's defensive line offside, but they weren't, and the entire Wolfpack line froze in place. Quarterback Ryan Finley rolled out and looked for receiver Jalon McLendon, but was intercepted by Julian Love, who returned the ball 69 yards for a touchdown. It was his second interception returned for a touchdown this season after doing the same thing against Michigan State. Notre Dame has now scored 101 points off 18 turnovers this season. The Irish had 14 turnovers in 12 games last year. Love also had 3 pass breakups, one on a Hail Mary to end the first half, and now has 11 this season. As a unit, the defense held the Wolfpack to 7 points. The other 7 came on a blocked punt returned for a touchdown in the first quarter. This stacks up right for a group that came into Saturday as the No. 12 scoring defense, holding opponents to 6 points per game. The turning point for Mike Elko's crew came early in the third quarter after Notre Dame extended its lead to 28-14. Finley drove the Wolfpack 35 yards into the red zone, but Notre Dame is ranked 6th nationally in red zone touchdown percentage efficiency, allowing opponents to score touchdowns only 39% of the time, with top running back Nyheim Hines out with an ankle injury. NC State needed someone else to step up here. A Finley fumble put the Wolfpack in a 3rd and 17 situation, and Drew Tranquill broke up a 16-yard pass intended for Kelvin Harmon. Then Tevin Coney, who currently leads the Irish with 59 tackles, and freshman Myron Tagovailoa combined to stuff Reggie Gillespie for a 1-yard loss. Notre Dame held NC State to 260 total yards, 50 rushing and 5 of 15 on third down. The Wolfpack were only able to average 4.3 yards per play compared to the Irish's 6.0 YPP, which is below their average of 6.3. Follow Indy Star Notre Dame insider Laken Littman on Twitter and Instagram @LakenLittman.